Hello, I want to deal with some of the objections to my video last night about FGM because I think most people disagreed with me. Now, I would say the objections to what I was saying come under three headings. First, that FGM is inhumane. It's a barbarous atrocity and we have to put a stop to it out of pity for the girls who are victims of it pretty much at any cost. We just can't put up with it and we have to combat it now, full stop. I agree, it is a barbarous atrocity. I think what I said is that it's the most barbarous atrocity that we've ever come up with under the long history of the inventiveness of human malice, and I would say that's about right. And no one who hears any of the accounts of what it does to people, no one who hears that can have anything but compassion for the victims of it. But think clearly. A failure to think clearly, that doesn't show what a kind, compassionate person you are. A failure to think clearly always, everywhere, shows what an unkind and uncompassionate person you are. Now, if we protect this generation of Muslim girls from this atrocity, or try to protect them, we try to protect one generation. If instead we remove Islam from the earth or separate it out from its followers so that it withers away, we protect countless future generations of Muslim girls and Muslims in general. That is many, many times better. By my rough estimate, I would say there have so far been about 70 generations of Muslims. I shudder to think that there might be another 70 generations. Now, the way that you remove Islam from the face of the earth is by showing its followers that the quick route to becoming a loser is following Islam, that Islam turns you into a loser. And that is because Islam's main selling point is that it makes you into a winner. The 5-a-day call to prayer that repeats, come to success, come to success. Paradise is defined as a place where winners go, and winning is described in the most gross and worldly terms, so that paradise is some kind of subtropical bordello. If you show the followers of Islam that it is turning them into a loser, you cut off Islam at its root by showing them that the thing that its promises are false and it does the reverse. A bit like if I sell you a bunch of a load of dodgy investment advice and you lose a lot of money, you're going to stop following my investment advice. If I sell you toothbrushes that cause your teeth to fall out, you're going to stop buying toothbrushes from me. You'll eventually ditch me altogether. And then if we can separate the religion of Islam from its followers, we've not only protected this one generation, but many generations, not only from FGM, but from all the depredations and outrages of Islam. Secondly, we shouldn't just put up, well, the second objection is that we shouldn't just put up with such a disgusting extreme on our soil. It's un-English, it's un-British, we just shouldn't tolerate it, full stop. Again, our responsibility is not to curb the extremes of Islam, but to remove its influence and its presence on our land and ultimately from the planet. Again, you don't do this by making Islam nicer, by pruning away the extremes, by reforming it. And the examples I give there, the analogy I give there, is first of all the Cold War. Look at the Cold War. We went through bouts of trying to cozy up to the Soviet Union through rapprochement, thawing relationships and détente, providing aid. And it always failed. All we ever did by doing that was to grow the Soviet Union's appetite by feeding it. Until President Reagan came along and said his plan for the Cold War is we win and they lose. And then the Soviet Union fell down like a house of wet playing cards. And similarly with appeasement. Appeasement was pretty much explicitly defined as the attempt to soften fascism by buying off or appeasing some of its more extreme demands, just giving it what it wanted so that it would draw its horns in and withdraw its tentacles a little bit. And again, all that did was to grow fascism's appetite by feeding it, until Churchill came along and said, we are going to remove Nazism from the face of the earth. We're going to sponge and purge and blast it from the face of the earth. I'm not in favour of doing this by war. I think we can win without war. But the aim is the same, to remove it ultimately from the world. Now, third, FGM, or the third objection to what I was saying, is that FGM works against us by making the practitioner, or the countries that practice it, or the religion that practices it, more ethnocentric, more battle-hardened, more able to wage war against us. Well, all I can say to that is look at the examples. Under my video, I provided a link to an NHS webpage that describes FGM. It's quite mealy-mouthed in parts, particularly when it goes through the countries that practice it, the countries that do FGM, or in NHS speak, government speak, communities at particular risk of FGM in the UK. Okay, get ready and listen. Tell me if you have ever heard a more complete list of dirt holes and basket cases in your life. Right, here goes. Egypt, Ethiopia, Gambia, Guinea, Indonesia, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Liberia, Malaysia, Mali, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Can you think of a less threatening bunch of countries? If these are the examples of the formidable ethnocentric battle hardies, then all I can say is, well, the PC multiculturalists, they must be right. Diversity must be a strength, and ethnocentrism and in-group preference must be a source of weakness, because look at the countries that are apparently so ethnocentric that they practice FGM. I await Gambia's invasion of China. I await the Sudan's destruction of Russia and America. I fully admit there are malevolent and very confident, extremely overconfident, ethnocentric Islamic ethnicities in our land. I admit that they're there, but they are not on this list. I think my point is confirmed in spades, that FGM undermines, disables and destabilizes the ethnicities and the countries that practice it. Now, no one who reads accounts of FGM can have anything but pity and compassion for those girls who are the victims of it, or anything other than revulsion and bafflement for the people and the cultures that do it, as well as the religion that underlies the culture that does it. But our first duty to the victims of Islam, our first duty to anyone, including to ourselves, is to survive and to ensure the survival of our own towering culture on the face of the earth, and then, subject to that, to go on to win hands down by separating the religion of Islam from its followers so that it withers away. And this is possible.